Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Dev with Excel. All right, so we've come to the last exercise in this part 1, which is the exercise 1.14 anecdote step 3. All right, so it has been a long journey from here, right? So what this instruction is saying is it says we should implement the final version of the application that displays the anecdote with the largest number of votes. So here we are concerned with returning the anecdote with the largest number of votes. So each of the anecdotes will have votes of different values, right? So the one with the highest value should be returned. So this is more like we are trying to it's more like we are trying to grade the anecdotes with the most value, with the most votes. All right, so it says that if multiple anecdotes are tied for first place, it is sufficient to just show one of them. Okay, so let's go to the code implementation and see how we can work this out. All right, so I am currently in the setup folder for step 3, which is exercise 1.14. So let's just continue from here. All right, so what can we do? What we need to do is let's go to the app components, and inside this app component, we need to write a code to tell us the maximum index, right? So the maximum index it is going to be gotten from the index of the maximum vote, right? So to get the maximum vote, we are going to be using the math method. So here's what we are going to do. Since we are getting it from votes, because here votes here is represents all the votes, right, that we have for each of the anecdotes. So here we just say vote, right, dot vote dot, then we use the index of, and after using the index of, what we need to do next is we call the math method and say math.max, and I want to find the maximum value for the votes. So having done this, we are going to be assigning a variable to this. So we say const. Let's call this maximum votes index. Maximum votes index, right? So because this represents the index for the maximum votes. So this is what we have. And then the next thing we want to do. All right. So the next thing we want to do is we need to go to the return statement. I think we need to go to return statement. Yes, to return this as an index of votes. So we simply come here. Let's go underneath the next anecdote. Mm. So before we do that, here we can see that we have the anecdotes of the day and also the anecdotes with most votes. So we can just write those string out. Okay, so let's just come here and say let's use an h2 tag and then call it anecdote of the day. Anecdotes of the day. Let's save this and let's see what is returned in the browser. All right, so we have this returned in the browser already, right? So the next one we want to do also is anecdotes with most votes, or let's still work with the anecdotes of the dates. Let's continue from here before writing this anecdote with most votes string. All right, so let's go back to the browser and see what's okay. So here we can just push this anecdote of the day underneath the no feedback given, right? So where is that going to come from? You can just push it underneath statistics. Let's see if that is going to work. All right, so that works. All right, so the next thing we want to do is underneath the next anecdote button, we are going to check if there's a vote for a particular anecdote, right? So we simply just say vote, then square bracket. Instead of square bracket, we call the max vote index and we check if it's equal to 0. So that means that if there's no votes here, we are going to return no votes yet, just as the instruction says, right? So here we are currently using a ternary operator, right? Ternary operator. So after doing this, we need to put the question mark, and then the next we want to do is we want to write no votes yet, right? Okay, then we also use a colon. Then after then we write another round bracket. Then what do we have here? So here we are trying to say that if we don't have any votes, we should return this. Else we should return the anecdotes with the highest vote, right? So that means that we are just going to return this, the whole of this. Then we paste it here. Oh, so our code, yes, so our code is funny here. I think that's because we need to use a curly brace, which we didn't use. I think so. Okay, so where's the issue from? We have this here. Let's use the curly brace and then let's save this again. That did not work. Okay, so let's just take it back to a particular point. Okay, so let's put it here and then let's use the curly brace. Expression expected. Okay, so there's something wrong here. We need to figure it out. So after no votes yet in p tag, we have the colon. Then after the colon, we have the round bracket. Then let's paste what we have here. Okay, so let's paste what we have here, but we are going to paste it inside something like a div tag. Or let us try this way first and see if it's going to work. Let's even know why this one is not working. Okay, it says JSX expression must have one parent element. Okay, so we have to put it inside a div tag, or we can as well put it inside something called a fragment. So this is called a fragment. It works almost like a tag too, but an empty tag. So we are now going to copy what we copied initially here. So that solves the problem. But now we are not going to be having selected here, but rather we are going to be having maximum vote index here. And also here, we're also going to be having maximum vote index. So I'm going to copy this and then paste this here. Copy this and then paste it here too. So let's save this. All right, so our code is kind of broken. It says it cannot find votes. Do you mean votes? Okay, I think it's votes. Okay, votes are not votes. So here we simply just write votes here and then let's save again. Okay, so here we don't have any votes for now. Let's vote this first anecdote. Okay, so here we have a vote. It says has one vote. Let's go to the next one. Let's make another vote. Has one vote, right? So let's go to the next one. Let's give it two votes. So it's returning this one with two votes, right? If we go to another, if we go to the next anecdote and then we give it maybe like three votes, because that's the one with the highest votes that gets returned. Okay, so we can see that this is one with the highest votes. This gets returned. Also, let's go back to the instruction and see what we've not done. Okay, we need to place in this anecdote with most votes. So we need to come above, or we need to come underneath this part here to write that. So let's just grab what we have here. Let's copy it and then let's paste it here. And then let's change this to anecdotes with most votes. I think this should solve the issue. Okay, so here it's telling us that this anecdote has the most votes, right? And if you check it very well, it is. Okay, so let's select the next one. Let's give this one 5 votes and see if it's going to override this value here. So let's give it the fifth one. Immediately we click on this vote, we are expecting to have adding manpower string here. All right. So we can see that this has been given 5 votes and then is the anecdote with the most votes. So I think this is what the instruction says we should do. And I want to believe that we've been able to successfully implement it. Let's go back to the instruction to see. It says we should implement the final version of the application that displays the anecdote with the largest number of votes. Okay, so I think, and I want to believe that we've been able to successfully solve exercise 1.14, and this one also is a bit tough, right? So thanks for having me here, and at this point I'll see you in the next video. That's part 2, right? So we are through with part 1 now, and see you in the next video. Bye.